Hello, welcome to episode 3, Sports and Shorts of Sorts. You're with Ren City and we're here, we're still doing it. Back within the week, not the year. So, let's do this. Back to the jersey thing, episode 3, number 3. When I think number 3, first thing I think, Allen Iverson. Got that jersey in the closet. Everyone loved AI. I actually had cornrows for a very brief period. I went and sat at the House of Braids, had to get extensions. I did have long hair at the time, but yeah, they braided me up. A guy came up to me in school and said, "Hey, you're white." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." Not my best phase, but kept the hair out of my eyes in basketball. I didn't want to wear a ponytail, but AI is the first one I think of. And then, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, some pretty good number 3s in there. You think baseball, Babe Ruth, right? Eating hot dogs, hitting dingers. It's a pretty big number 3, obviously, before my time. But auto racing, you got Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator. He was known for number 3. And in F1, Danny Ricciardo. That's like my wife's favorite driver. He's now a reserve driver for Red Bull. So he's not on the 20 regular drivers. He's in the reserve drivers. But, in the NFL, you got Russell, last name Wilson. He's not doing too hot in Denver, but maybe Sean Payton can try and reignite those Seattle days. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, it should be interesting. And speaking of interesting, March Madness basically been carrying the sports part of this show. It's been such a wild tournament. Like, first time an Elite Eight doesn't have a number 1 seed. Have that. That's crazy. You have Florida Atlantic University. Yes, the Owls. They've been hooting it and hooping it up. So, they beat they beat Michigan State to earn their bout against Kansas State, which was this weekend. And Kansas State, you gotta love it because Marquise Noel, he's been lighting it up. He had 20 dimes in Sweet 16, and then in the Elite 8 game today, what did he finish with? 30 points, 12 assists, 5 steals, 5'8". Like, he is the heart of that team. It was tough to see them lose to Florida Atlantic. Like, Florida Atlantic won it, though. At times, like, everybody's saying they look pretty bad. And they're like, what? And then they just suddenly light it up. Everyone's on turbo mode, and they're hitting everything, and just to see Noel not have the ball in his hands on that last play was kind of rough, though. See, it's always tough when the team doesn't get a shot up, but man, you gotta give it to Florida Atlantic. They're going to their first ever Final Four. First time at number 9's in the Final Four since Wichita State back in 2013 with Fred VanVleet. If you're a Raptors follower, you'll know that name. And the other team going on, UConn. They beat Arkansas, who I had Arkansas going pretty well. The one thing I had, but UConn shattered that. So UConn beat them, and then they played Gonzaga. And Gonzaga earned their way against UConn with a thrilling game against UCLA. I thought UCLA had it, to be fair. As I thought with most things in this tournament, they ended up wrong. And just like this, I thought Gonzaga would maybe pull this one out. But UConn, they just look so good. Like, amazing. All of the Big East has really looked kind of good. Like, I never saw that coming, but UConn, they look like they're going to take this. They're the highest seed remaining. So, I don't know. We'll see. The other games on today, like we had San Diego State and Creighton. That was, I don't think a lot of people had that one lined up, but it was very interesting. You had brothers playing against each other. They're of Ugandan descent, 2 half brothers, same mother, played against each other, and it was pretty crazy, and ended up going, right to the end, and the Aztecs pulled it out. So you had San Diego State going against Florida Atlantic in the Final Four, which everyone had, like I said, I imagined. Texas-Miami, that was a pretty crazy game, too. And again, I'm thinking Texas, they've got this. And then Miami comes back and came back hard. So they punched their ticket to the Final Four. But I don't know. With the Texas coach, I feel he needs to get a lot more credit. Rodney Terry, he took over if you were unfamiliar with it, Chris Beard. He's a great basketball coach, but he got let go of the team. He was deemed unfit to coach. What happened was he got charged with assault, or what was the charge here? What happened is he was choking. The charge was he was choking his fiance, and she had marks on her and stuff. Very visible. He spent it like the night in jail, got out, and then suddenly a few weeks later, she said, like, no, he didn't do that, and I don't think his intentions were to hurt me. And now he's got a job at Ole Miss already. This guy's got a big job already after all this, and Texas still can't take the interim off this coach. They haven't hired him full time. He just led this team to the Elite Eight. They still haven't officially given him the job. They might look elsewhere. And the reporter, Tracy Wolfson, was talking to the AD, and he was just like, oh, we don't talk coaching in the tournament. We don't talk coaches during the tournament. So I just thought that was a little weird. But, yeah, that's our Final Four, just as you all picked, starting on April Fool's. I almost think that's set up. Some kind of wackiness goes on the entire tournament, and the Final Four takes place April Fool's. That sounds a little too set up. But regardless, we're here. We have the Florida Atlantic Owls and the San Diego State Aztecs, the University of Miami Hurricanes, and the University of Connecticut. As I said, the highest team left at a number 4. But the reason I'm doing this a little later again is staying up to watch these games. And the latest one was Iowa. And, I'm talking women's basketball now, yeah. And the game was Iowa and Louisville. And Caitlin Clark, I've been talking about her the whole time. And, man, she lit it up again. Triple-double, 41 points. Like, she sets everybody up. She brings so much attention, makes the right pass. A few times she did get trapped, had to call a timeout or lost the ball. Like, I think technically you could have given her a quad double if you threw turnovers in there. But, everybody pressures her, and Louisville put up a good fight. Haley Van Lith, another amazing woman baller to watch. Like, there's the fact you can just ring them off, how many good female players are, I just love it. It makes it so exciting. But, yeah, like, Iowa did end up winning that game, so Iowa is on their way to the Final Four. Earlier in the day, Miami Hurricanes, is this the year of Miami? Are they going to win it men's and female? But they win against LSU, and the Tigers took them down. And Kim Mulkey, this is only her second year at LSU. Everybody's talking to her because she does dress I don't know if everyone's seen Mean Girls, but she does dress like Regina George's mom. If you looked her up, straight up, that's her. And she's a heck of a coach, though. Tells it how it is, and says some interesting things. Some could say a little polarizing figure, but she can coach. And she's led this LSU Tigers team to the Final Four. Her second, this is the second team she's led to the Final Four, which is pretty good, pretty impressive. So, interesting fashion, and doing a great job. And the other games for the Final Four with the women's, they don't take place till Monday night. So those ones you'll have. This one, it should be great. If there's anyone you want to watch as well, I know I'm hyping up all of them, which. This is great, TSN. I'm glad I'm throwing them out there because with their app, I can watch all these women matchups, and they're great. And Maryland and South Carolina, this could be a final. But these two teams going up against each other, obviously South Carolina's the favorite. But I think, Maryland, I don't know if anyone can dethrone them, but they might. Diamond Miller is the real deal. And when her team's helping her out, I don't know, it could go either way. And then that leaves the last game Ohio State and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, another number 1 seed. Ohio State beat UConn, right? So that's pretty big. It's pretty awesome how there were two schools with such big runs, like the University of Miami. They're still going on the men's side, not on the women's. And University of Connecticut, the same thing. So that's pretty cool. But those are 2 games on tomorrow. That should be very exciting. And I know I neglected it a bit last time, but the NBA is still going, and the playoffs are getting intense. But earlier in the week, we had something sad in the NBA, and Willis Reed passed away. And like I obviously didn't watch the New York Knicks in the 70s, right? But I did watch a bit about Willis Reed, and the one year I forget what year it was for the NBA Finals, they released these small little videos, clips on the NBA Finals page or whatever, like 45-second long. The ads were like a minute and a half, but you want to watch these clips, and like the one with Willis Reed, and like. He's injured. He doesn't play Game 6 of the finals. He's got a torn thigh muscle, right? But they need to come out Game 7 against the Lakers. So he comes out, or no one's expecting him to play. All of a sudden you see down the tunnel, the two commentators are there, and he goes, "Here comes Willis!" And Willis comes out, and he can barely walk. He's got a torn thigh, right? Comes out, and he hits the first two shots. Like, sometimes just the power of inspiration. And he only hit two shots. That's all he hit the whole game. But just his mere presence, being the captain of that team, showing them. And Walt Frazier lit it up. MVP of the finals. But, man, Willis Reed. And everyone talked about just, there's certain people they talk about how great they are off the court. And I guess he was one of them. And just a sad day for the NBA to use him. Rest in peace, Willis. And brings us to the rest of the West, I guess, in the NBA. It seems like it's still the three teams at the top there. Memphis got another big win today, and Denver beat Milwaukee the other night, the battle of number ones. And then you have Sacramento. That still feels weird. Sacramento in the third seed. Definitely time traveling, thinking about that. And Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber. But yeah, now we got Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, one of my favorite players to watch. He's fast, he is furious, probably Vin Diesel's favorite player. But like, oh man, those Kings are something to watch. I wouldn't, if you're expecting them to get a crucial stop, I don't know, you might lose that. If they can just get crucial stops at big times, they could make a playoff run. Who knows? March Madness has got me feeling crazy. Anything can happen now, I guess. But if, like, they've already clinched the playoffs here. Well, I don't know if they've technically, but we know they're going. And, yeah, this will I guess, break their terrible drought of 16 years without a playoff appearance. That's crazy. 16 years. So, no, there'll be a lot of happy Sacramento fans. They've lit the beam. They like this beam that goes into the sky after a win. So it's been very, very beamy skies above I guess it's not Arco Arena now. I think it's Golden One Corral. I'll have to look up the Sacramento Arena, but it used to be Arco, and they used to ring the cowbells pretty good. So I guess the longest professional drought would be the New York Jets in the NFL. But we all know they're emerging to get a quarterback, perhaps. We'll be going the NFL portion of this show, but maybe Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. And yeah, but outside of this top three, the rest of the NBA is like March Madness in that Western Conference. 4-12. Those 8 seeds are there, or 9 seeds, I guess, separated by 4 games. That's it, all of them. So it could go. There's 7 spots, and yeah, 9 teams want them. So somebody's getting out of there. Portland should be in there, but I don't get it. They're disappointing. They're shutting down Damian Lillard, shutting down the studio. He's got a calf injury, and they're like 4 games back now of that last spot, 4.5. So just disappointed for Portland. Damian Lillard's so loyal. Talks about wanting to win for Portland so bad, and they just, disappointment. And this, I know it was tough for them to even get to the play-in, but this little injury, he could probably play through it, but they don't want to, risk it to maybe get into the play-in. So, yeah, you got to feel for him. And, speaking of teams that are probably feeling for themselves, the Mavericks, back-to-back losses to the Charlotte Hornets, and LaMelo Ball's not there. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. lighting it up against the old team that drafted him, right? You got to feel for that, especially since Dennis Smith Jr., there were talks that if he couldn't make the NBA this year, like no one wanted to sign him, he told his agent he's not going to play in China. Like, he's going to try to get in shape and play in the NFL, which sounds really tough, being a former basketball player. So I'm glad that somebody took a chance on him, and he's doing really well with the Hornets. I think he'd be good there even when LaMelo comes back. But Obviously, next season they're gonna have a high draft pick, but who knows? I like to root for the Hornets there sometimes, so hopefully they do good. I think LaMelo Ball is fun to watch, but yeah, that loss to the Mavs. That's seven of their last 9, I guess, and 7-13 since acquiring Kyrie. And to make things even better, Luka picked up his 16th technical of the year. By NBA rules, that means you get suspended your next game, so maybe another loss. They go up against the Pacers. That's a game you think they should win, but the way they're spiraling, I don't even know. You have 2 of the best, most amazing offensive players to watch, one-on-one players, and you might not even make the playoffs. Like, that's crazy. And speaking of teams like in that mix, the Lakers, LeBron James came back today. Off the bench? Yeah. Second time in his career. When I was reading that, I was like, what? And then they didn't even get the dub, unfortunately. Those Bulls, surging Bulls, they're wanting to get in the play-in spot too. They're playing at the right time, and they're doing what they need to do there.